जय गोपीजनवल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रजजनरञ्जन Hare Prabhupada ki jai. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So please welcome all of you to this discussion on Bhagavad Gita. So today we are going to discuss chapter 2. Is it I can't read this. 9? It's 9, is it? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayet nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So we are reading Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 9. Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ paran-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ param-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva. Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ param-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva. Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ param-tapaḥ Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ param-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva. Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ param-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva. Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ param-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva. Yes, Mataji's? Sañjaya uvāca evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ paran-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva. So the word-to-word translation. Sañjaya uvāca. Sañjaya said, evam, thus, uktvā, speaking, hṛṣīkeśaṁ, unto Kṛṣṇa, the master of the senses, guḍākeśaḥ, Arjuna, the master of curbing ignorance, paran-tapaḥ, the chastiser of the enemies, na yotsye, I shall not fight, iti, thus, govindam, unto Kṛṣṇa, the giver of pleasure to the senses, uktvā, saying, tūṣṇīṁ, silent, babhūva, became, certainly. Sañjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Kṛṣṇa, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Like to repeat, please? Sañjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Kṛṣṇa, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Dhṛtarāṣṭra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. But Sañjaya disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies, paran-tapaḥ. Although Arjuna was for the time being overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection, he surrendered unto Kṛṣṇa, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and would then surely fight. Thus, Dhṛtarāṣṭra's joy would be frustrated, since Arjuna would be enlightened by Kṛṣṇa and would fight to the end. Sañjaya uvāca, evam uktvā hṛṣīkeśaṁ guḍākeśaḥ param-tapaḥ na yotsya iti govindam uktvā tūṣṇīṁ babhūva. Sañjaya said, having spoken this, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Kṛṣṇa, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Jnanatimandaśya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurumritam yena tasmai Shri Guruve namaha. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Kṛṣṇa Padan Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vistaya Buddhile Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pachacharyesha Shatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Mukham karoti vācālam panghum langayati girim yakripa tamaham vande Shri Gurudena Taranam. Hare Krishna. So, thank you for being here today. I'm sure that all of us here are familiar with Bhagavad Gita, and this Bhagavad Gita have been read again and again and again in this same classes I've been attending since years, and starting all over again. So we've just completed chapter 1, which is the introduction to the whole philosophy and explanation of Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important chapter 1, and today's verse is completing this section, which is setting the, the scene, the context in which Bhagavad Gita is spoken. It's the philosophy. I know that, yes, all of us, we have philosophy, but we want the application, we want real life. So this chapter 1 and up till now is the real life scenario. What's going on? So we can go back to the circumstances which led to this situation. What's the situation? It's the battlefield. On the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Why these two parties have assembled? So I really consider that the first chapter is very important, extremely important. If we miss understanding chapter 1, the rest remains more like a theory in our minds. So this is Mahabharata. See the story of Mahabharata. Actually, this Mahabharata is in the first canto of Bhagavatam and in other literatures also. So Mahabharata is said to be the fifth Veda, though we all know 4 Vedas, but Mahabharata is the fifth Veda, meaning that all the teachings of the 4 Vedas is illustrated in Mahabharata, real life application. So what do we see in Mahabharata? So we find the 5 Pandavas who were born in the hermitages of the sages in the forest, because King Pandu was a very saintly king, and he was very renounced, extremely pious, detached from material opulences. So he was spending a lot of time in the hermitages of the sages, and his children were born in the hermitages by the blessings of the sages, and they were actually devas. And their wife also, Draupadi, later, is also a goddess. So the 5 Pandavas, they were young boys. So after the demise of King Pandu, so they had to return back to Hastinapur, their original home. And there what was happening is the good life, the royal life of enjoyment. Dhṛtarāṣṭra and his 100 sons had no training at all in Gurukul life, in tapasya. They only knew the life of enjoyment. So they were spoiled. It's so as we've read from chapter 16 of Bhagavad Gita, Ishwaroham aham bhogi. The mind of the asura is Ishwaroham, I am the master. Aham bhogi, the world is meant for me to enjoy, which is not at all the truth. And this is what is happening right now. Now the truth is being revealed in this battlefield of Kurukshetra. So the Kauravas, who are living a life of luxury and enjoyment, they thought they can do it on and on without end. That was their idea. And how did they get this idea? Because of the father. I'm speaking of children, the sons of Pandu, young boys, raised among sadhus, and then the Kauravas, the 100 sons, living a life of luxury, spoiled by their father, Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So we read about Dhṛtarāṣṭra. It starts with him. The Bhagavad Gita starts with him. We read this verse, Sañjaya uvāca, and we started the first verse, Dhṛtarāṣṭra uvāca, dharmakshetre kurushetre samaveta yuyotsavaha mama kāpandavaschaiva kim akurvata Sañjaya. Dhṛtarāṣṭra said, O Sañjaya, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? And the Purport Prabhupada said, ridiculous question. They have assembled on the battlefield of Kurukshetra to fight, so what are they doing there? Right? Not to sit and have a feast, right? And here, Sañjaya said, having spoken thus, Arjuna, chastised of enemies, told Kṛṣṇa, Govinda, I shall not fight. And Prabhupada is saying, Dhṛtarāṣṭra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. So, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, actually I heard that story many years ago from His Holiness Krishna Das Goswami Maharaj. He told us the story of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. I don't know what's the reference, but I like to repeat it because I heard it from him. Who is Dhṛtarāṣṭra and what is happening right now? So, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, Rashtra means the kingdom, the seat, the state. Dhṛta, he's holding very tight. Right? Like we say, Dhrida Vrata, great vow. So he has taken a firm vow that he will never give up the kingdom. So this Dhṛtarāṣṭra, actually, from what I heard from His Holiness Krishna Das Maharaj, was that he was actually a Raja Rishi in some previous birth. But he contracted some disease, like an itchy disease, and it was really killing him. So the Vaidya recommended that he has to take a substance from the brain of a crane or a swan, a bird, a substance. So now Dhṛtarāṣṭra means Raja Rishi. Raja Rishi meaning that he takes care not only of the human beings, but he takes care of the animals also. So he thought that, how will I get the substance from the brain of a swan? I have to kill the swan, right? So he refused. And now this itching is so much, he just couldn't tolerate it. So finally he gave in. All right, kill the swan and remove the substance from the brain. So he used it as under the direction of the Vaidya. And then still he did not stop. The Vaidya said, you need the substance from 100 swans. You can relate? You need the substance from the brain of 100 swans. So the Raja Rishi, how can I do this? Kill 100 swans. But the itching was too much. You know, when we suffer, anything will do. So we live at the cost of others. This is the unfortunate situation in this material world. To relieve my suffering, I am ready to cause suffering to others. So he gave in, and he killed 100 swans. And he was cured. He was cured. But being a Rajarshi, he couldn't take the sin. I have killed 100 swans for my own sake. Therefore, he gave up his kingdom. And he went, as we know all Rajarshi do, he gave up his kingdom. He adopted the path of renunciation. And he practiced austerity as a great yogi for 99 births. For 99 births. And he was given the benediction that on his 100th birth, he will achieve liberation from this cycle of birth and death. He will make up for whatever may have happened in his life. So, he took his 100th birth, guess, as who? Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So here he is, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, who was a Rajarshi, who somehow or other, for the sake of the own self, committed some sinful activities. He was atoning for it, birth after birth, and he came to his 100th birth. So if we examine carefully, what is this birth of Dhṛtarāṣṭra? He was born the first son of who? Who? Srila Vyasadeva, yes. He was born the first son of Srila Vyasadeva. And how was he born? What was his condition? Physical condition? Yes, blind. Can you imagine what it is? You are born first son. What is the implication of first son? What does it mean? You are born in the praja of Hastinapur. First son mean? Yeah. You're supposed to inherit the throne, right? So this is, I'm born, the firstborn, but I'm born how? Blind. How would you feel? I'm just asking a human question. How would you feel?
Not fair.
Not fair. Yes. So here we are. Born first son, meant to be the emperor of the entire world. That was Bharatvarsh. That was not small peninsula called India. No, that was the entire Bharatvarsh. And we read also from first canto, it extended, Parikshit Maharaj kingdom extended beyond, right? Ketumala and all those other kingdom, Jambudvip. And Mahabharata also, we find how the Pandavas, they crossed the borders of Bharatvarsh beyond the Himalayas. And they went and conquered. Oh, they were so pleasant. Arjuna was such a pleasant person that willingly the kings were just giving him the tributes, paying the tributes. Yes, we accept Yudhishthira as emperor. So that's what Dhṛtarāṣṭra lost. So it's not a small loss. Just to, so that we can be in his shoes. That's why I'm telling this whole story. So now, he is born blind and he has lost the kingdom. But he is not able to accept his what? What is he not able to accept? We all know this. His what? His destiny. His destiny. His fate. All right. So in name only, I am king. I'm emperor. In name only. I am venerated by the people, by my own nephews. In name only. Who wants this? With no power. So therefore, I think this morning we had a beautiful class by, I forgot his name, Swayamkesha Maharaj. Yeah. So he said, how we want to enjoy in this world. So here's the example of Dhṛtarāṣṭra, who is born blind, and he still wants to enjoy this world. He's holding on very tightly on the seat, the imperial seat. And how will he enjoy? Any guess? Through his sons, correct. He has no eyes, all right? But he's got 100 sons. So according to the story, those 100 sons were the 100 what? Swans. So how destiny, how the law of karma play back on us, we can't figure it out. And Kṛṣṇa says in Bhagavad Gita also, chapter 4, he said the intricacies of karma, nobody can understand. It's such a mesh, right? So intricate, one leading to the other, binding us. The banyan tree, throwing roots down, gripping the earth, and then from up also putting down roots which grip the earth. So much intertwined, we can't get out from this body, from this cycle of birth and death. And here's an example of Dhṛtarāṣṭra. So he got caught by his own 100 sons, to whom he is so attached. And these are the 100 swans who have become his sons and became his enemies. All right? We've read this, we've heard this from 6th canto. When King Chitraketu, he lost his child. So we say the child, is the child a friend or an enemy? The child who's causing so much pain, is this friend or enemy? So here, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, he had to suffer through his sons because he owed it to them. So this is such an incredible story. And here in this particular shlok, Dhṛtarāṣṭra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. So Dhṛtarāṣṭra, so we know how time and time again the Pandavas were tricked to leave the kingdom. First time, they just say, we are sending you off on an excursion, I forgot where, and we have built a beautiful palace for you, but that palace was made of lac, meaning it is an inflammable substance, meaning that there was a case of assassination, right? Now, remember, what is all this? This is all royal politics, right? Who wants to be born king? If we believe somewhere, I think I read about, family problems, national problem, international problem, right? our own small problem, but here this is heavy duty politics, kings, same family. All right. So now, Dhṛtarāṣṭra, instigated by the sons, he always put in front the sons. Whenever he's accused of something, he put forward his sons. He said, it's them, it's not me. Or he will throw it on fate, on destiny. Meaning that I have no free will in this, it's all destiny. Right now we're talking about destiny. But time and time again, Dhṛtarāṣṭra refused to take charge or responsibility of his action and change his destiny. So the Pandavas were sent off, and the news spread that they died, and then suddenly they appeared again. Then second time now, the gambling match. All right? How irreligiously this gambling match happened. How was it lost? Yudhishthir was called for the gambling match. By who? By the beloved uncle. Right? Dhṛtarāṣṭra, the beloved uncle. And Yudhishthir is personification of dharma. Obedience. My dear uncle has called me. It's not my enemy, right? It's not my enemy who called me. My dear uncle. I have to obey. He's dharmic. Yudhishthir is dharmic. I have to submit. And this is what Arjuna said in the first chapter. These are my superiors. I cannot even give them a bad word. I have to obey them. So Yudhishthir Maharaj says, yes, I'll come. But before he started the match, he says, this is not proper. He protested. He said that gambling is not proper. It leads to great calamities. He's a young boy. Remember, the Pandavas were young men. They were not, elderly people, experienced politicians. They were young boys, but they knew the laws of dharma. My dear uncle, it is not proper, it is not dharma. But he got the instruction he should gamble, and he did. So we know how he was cheated, and everything was stolen from him. So disaster was awaiting, and the entire royal entourage of Hastinapur knew that disaster is awaiting Dhṛtarāṣṭra. The whole Kuru dynasty, and especially when Draupadi was insulted. So finally, the Pandavas, they emerge from the exile, and everybody knows they are kings, meaning that you don't insult a king, however pious, however religious he may be. At the end of the day, he has blood of a Kshatriya. So Mahatma Vidur kept on saying, and everybody kept saying, that their blood is boiling with revenge. So the news was sent to Dhṛtarāṣṭra. Give back the kingdom. Whatever you have taken, give back. Let us have a peaceful settlement. But Dhṛtarāṣṭra said, yes, we don't want war. We want peace. You stay where you are. Where were they? They were in the kingdom of King Virat. They have emerged from exile. They have taken shelter in the kingdom of Virat, King Virat. And Dhṛtarāṣṭra very nicely said, You stay there. We don't want war. We will keep your kingdom. So here, Prabhupada is saying, Dhṛtarāṣṭra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for the begging profession. Very happy, right? This is what he's hoping for. But he didn't take into consideration who? Kṛṣṇa, yes. He forgot Kṛṣṇa. And for him, who is Kṛṣṇa representative of? For him, the law of karma. He forgot. We cannot cheat. We cannot play politics. We cannot be Ishwaroham, aham bhogi, without meeting with the law of karma. So even though the Pandavas were so kind, they are devas. Right? They are devas. We read the previous verse. I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drawing up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like the demigods in heaven. So the Pandavas, they are devas. And they are not interested. So Arjuna is not interested in this kingdom, but Kṛṣṇa has known in this world to do what we like. Like right now, so many things are going on. It's just an extension of the same thing, politics, capturing one country, dominating one country, inflicting so much suffering on innocent people. Oh, we believe we are innocent. No. But from this whole story, we can know that law of karma is extremely intricate and nobody can understand its beginning and its end. And, here it is, last thing Prabhupada is saying. So, Arjuna, being soft-hearted, because he's a deva, so he became overwhelmed with false grief due to family affection. But he surrendered unto Kṛṣṇa, the supreme spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be free from the false lamentation resulting from family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and would then surely fight. So one thing is that it's not the first time that Dhṛtarāṣṭra is hearing Bhagavad Gita. Is it the first time? No. Many, many times. Whole life he has heard Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna also has heard Bhagavad Gita again, and just like all of us, right? How many times you heard Bhagavad Gita? But Dhṛtarāṣṭra, Dhrita, not able to give up the attachment. Whereas the contrast is with the Pandavas. They have knowledge, they are not interested. Actually, one section in this Mahabharata, when one by one everybody said, let go, we don't want to fight, let go. Kṛṣṇa had to come and poke. What? You forgot what this one, that one did? And again. Why? Because this entire war is actually an enactment of the law of karma. And Kṛṣṇa is speaking so that we don't become entangled in the law of karma. And the last sentence here, Prabhupada said that thus Dhṛtarāṣṭra's joy would be frustrated, meaning that Arjuna will give up his mood of renunciation, personal renunciation, right? His personal renunciation. He'll give up that mood. Thus, Dhṛtarāṣṭra's joy would be frustrated. Since Arjuna would be enlightened by Kṛṣṇa and would fight to the end, many of us here, we are senior citizen. It's been a fight whole life, right? Whole life. We're not going to give up now. So, to become Kṛṣṇa conscious means a struggle which is ongoing, and we cannot let go of our focus. So this is Arjuna would be enlightened by Kṛṣṇa and would fight to the end. Everything was lost on either side. Kauravas and the Pandavas, everything was lost. But Kṛṣṇa's desire was, and his mission was fulfilled. So we read in the purport that Arjuna surrendered to Kṛṣṇa, and therefore he became the instrument. Actually, one very beautiful example is given in Upanishad. Prabhupada keeps repeating again and again. He said that we have a hand, right? This hand is a unit by itself, right? Has some function. It's a unit. And this hand, if we cut it, we separate it, we put it on the table, this hand. It looks like a hand, a complete unit, but it has no value. Right? So similarly, when the living entity, the jiva in this material world, they act separate from the interest of the Supreme Lord, they become asar, useless. And we become valuable when we are reconnected to the body, who is Kṛṣṇa, because then Kṛṣṇa can use us for his own purposes. So this is what Arjuna agreed at the end. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Some comments you'd like to add? Hare Krishna. Mercy of His Holiness Krishna Das Maharaj. He has left this world now. Very senior disciple of Srila Prabhupada. Very lion guru, very strong preacher, extremely strong preacher, Kshatriya guru. So he told us once only, and I remembered, many, many years back. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.